everyone. This is what inspired me for this project. We just have the most beautiful leaves. It's just like a carpet of leaves in Minnesota and a lot of different colors. And so I decided to do a landscape, like a fall landscape today. I'm starting with a base of 100% cotton canvas. I've used this before. I'll link it down below for you. It's a 10 ounce and it's just a wonderful weight. And then I have this mat board. It's 8 by 10 and I will be putting at the end, be mounting it onto this mat board when I'm done. Beside me I have my scraps of, I just have this on my counter all the time and I just throw my scraps in it. So I'm digging out of that, just ripping little pieces and just building my design. I'm using, as you can see, most of my fall colors. I'm just digging them out. I do like that frayed edge, and so I am ripping most of these, pressing when I need to, and then clipping the ends, but I do want that cotton or the canvas fray to show, and so I'm keeping my design within the edges of that canvas. This is just a wad of embroidery floss, still from my mom's tin, and I've been trying to straighten out. And I just placed that on there and added some lace as well that was in my little scrap bucket. You can see it there. Just again, just deciding what I want where and just placing it, tucking it underneath. Now that wad of embroidery floss, you're going to see me throughout this project continually mess with it because I don't like it. And so at the end I kind of fix that. You'll see that. Here I am messing with the embroidery thread again. This was like a light colored cream print, and I thought it's perfect for a little country house. And so that is what I'm creating here. And as I'm editing this, I realize how close that iron is to my hand. I did not burn myself, but yeah, a lesson there. And then this was the most unusual trim. I went shopping with a friend a couple weeks ago and we both purchased some of this. It's on a tiny wire and it's not washable. I think it's almost papery looking, but I thought it almost looks like a picket fence. So I did place that on there. And now here you see, I'm just going to cut pieces of this thread and just scatter it throughout. And I like that a lot better. Now I'm going to be using my Solvay, and I'll again link this down below. You've seen me use this many times. It is a water-soluble stabilizer. And I just cut a piece and laid it on top just to keep everything together. I'm not going to be gluing this or anything. I just wanted... This is going to hold it into place until I get to my sewing machine and stitch it. I'm just using this mat to transfer it to my sewing machine. And I picked out a variety of thread. I'm going to be changing my thread according to the colors that I'm using. So I'm going to be doing all my dark brown first here. Now I'm doing free motion stitching. I have my darner foot on, which is a free motion foot, and I'm catching in those little pieces of fiber as I go and catching in the ends. On the house I'm just drawing around the little applique pieces. My feed dogs are dropped during this, so I'm doing all the moving. Just changed my thread to this rusty color, rusty brown color. And again, just going over the top of that embroidery thread just to catch it in. Doing the roof of my little house, and instead of adding a applique chimney, I am just going to draw the chimney in with my thread. That's what I love about free motion. You can just easily do things like that. I just changed thread again to this cream color, and we'll be just outlining this house, and then I'm going to be doing some lines, just parallel lines to make it look like siding. I'm just traveling where I can instead of breaking my thread. And then for this interesting piece of trim, I am just catching that in, just going over the wire. It was so thin it didn't hurt my needle at all. And there we have it. Before I remove that stabilizer, I do want to put a little tree on. Now I just drew this little tree design out on a piece of paper, and I slid it underneath that stabilizer, and I'm just tracing that little tree, and then I'm also going to draw on some windows on my house. I'm using a Uniball pen for this, and I find that this pen works the best to draw on this stabilizer, and I will link that down below as well. I just removed that paper, and now I'm back to my sewing machine, and I decided to use free motion zigzag for this tree. I really like how it fills in. It's just really easy to fill in spaces, and it's great for a tree that has kind of a rough surface. I also really like it for doing fur on any animal or anything like that you might want to be free motion. Just filling it in there. It does take a little bit of practice to do this, because as you go parallel, it's going to be just more of a thicker line. Kind of hard to describe, but it just takes a little bit of practice, and then it's just really fun to do. Before I change threads, I am going to go over and do the window, and I think this is like a dark brown that I'm using. And I'm going over those twice. And now I changed thread into more of a medium brown, and I'm just going to add a little bit more detail to this tree. Now it's time to get that off of there. The bigger pieces I just carefully remove. I don't want to distort my stitches, but I can gently remove the bigger pieces. And then for the rest of it, I'm just going to be spritzing it with water, and then using just a paper towel and my iron again. And that's going to take off that, it's just going to completely dissolve, and it's going to pick up on this paper towel. I do have to do it, I believe I did it 3 times for this. Just spraying it again and then ironing again. And you can see it on that paper towel how much of that residue comes off. And now back to my floss. I decided to do some hand stitching with it. I'm really enjoying adding hand stitching to some of my machine stitched pieces. And you can see there I added little leaves, and then I added some flower boxes, and then just some details. I really enjoyed how this turned out. I did want to add a little bit of paint or a color to the sky, so I'm just using my This is just a student grade watercolor set, and I'm going to add this blue, and I'm putting a ton of water in that. My canvas or my piece is dry. I did not add any water to my fabric, but I'm just going to add some paint to this. This will really lighten a lot once it's dry. It looks too dark right now, but once it's dried, it was just a very pale blue. It's just what I wanted, just to kind of add some color to that sky. It even had like a speckled look while I was doing it, and I kind of had a uh-oh moment. But then, like you can see here, once it's dried, it was just very subtle. To mount this to this board, I'm just using double-sided tape, and this board it's fuzzy. It was really unusual. I'm not really sure. It had a different velvety feel to it. But I'm just adding this tape to it. And then smoothing this out. Now I'm putting a dot in each corner, and then taking my punch, and this is on the smaller, the 1/8 inch hole, and I'm punching an 1/8 inch hole all the way through the canvas and the mat. And then I'm just going to stick these brads through each corner. Almost looks like a nail, kind of like the look. And I just have these brads in with my paper crafting supplies. I've decided to scan this, and I have these available in my Etsy store. I did a transparent one too. These are wonderful for stationery. You can write on them, love them for my journals. And then I created an envelope, some tags, 4 tags, and then a card that fits in the envelope. And this is what it looks like. It's just got a little, it's really cute. It has a little design on the back side and the front. I just tore elements of that collage to create these. So that's available if anybody's interested. I hope you enjoyed this video, everybody. It was really fun to make. Here's some pictures at the end, and you can see some of the detail of the stitching that I've done. Bye, everybody. I hope you have a great week.